Greetings, salutations. Welcome to That Pedal Show VCQ Live.
Hello everyone, welcome to the show. Just checking the audio levels.
Indeed.
You look
happy?
You look different, Daniel.
Do I?
I haven't seen Dan in a few days.
No, I've just walked in, and yeah, very keen to catch up with this young man.
Yes.
Anyone that's seen the videos, Mick has been at NAMM.
Yes, I've been to the United States of America, California.
I have not.
Yeah, I literally got back earlier this afternoon and travelled 5,500 miles across the USA, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, the Atlantic Ocean and home.
To be here today.
And Dan was the one that was late, having come 35 miles from Swindon.
Yes, very good, very good.
To be fair, all I had to do was sit on a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. Monday. I'm a little bit hoarse of voice, having been shouting at people in an exhibition hall for 3 days.
I didn't miss that.
No. It was good though. It was really good. We have in the past been a bit grumpy about going to NAMM. Or I have, to be more specific about it. But it was really lovely.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, lots of people saying, you know, it's the sort of death knell of NAMM because lots of the big guys aren't there, and it was, you know, half the size of what it normally is.
Really?
Yeah. But I think that brought a sort of intimacy and camaraderie that maybe
that's nice.
Didn't exist before. So
that's very nice.
Yeah, it's very nice indeed. Anyway, so to those of you who I met a whole bunch of people, Justin Baylog. Oh God, Aaron, Albus Band.
Oh, cool.
And a whole bunch of other people who come up in the super chat each week, and it was just flipping great to put names to faces and say hello. So if we said hello, thank you very much for seeking me out, because you know what I look like, I don't know what you look like, and saying hello. It was a really feel good event.
Lovely. So the new 2-rock amp.
Yeah.
Is it really serious?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. I say with a slightly heavy heart, if it had existed when I got my 2-Rai, it would be the one I would have.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, so you know how mine's like the classic reverb signature is a bit like a super reverb meets a clean Dumble, sort of kinda.
Yeah.
This is like a deluxe reverb with a bit of Tweedy, but gets 2-rockized.
Okay.
Kinda. I mean, that's a bit too reductive. But my goodness me, I didn't actually play it because it's pointless trying to play stuff in the hall.
Yeah.
But I did listen to a few other people play it, and
amazing.
yeah, because obviously if you're stood over there, you can actually hear it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Anyway, so
oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, nice one to Eli and all the people there. And I saw the Joey amp for the first time.
Oh, brilliant.
Which was really cool.
Right.
And that sounds stupid good.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was talk of Joey's European amp living here.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. I like that talk.
Yeah,
That's talk
yeah.
I can get behind.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just desperately trying to log in and failing. Are we on?
We're on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's lovely. Oh, so okay. Josh M, his first ever super chat. G'day, mate. Thank you so much. It tells us now.
Oh.
Gives you a little thing. That's great, Josh. Thank you.
There we are.
So other highlights from NAMM.
Definitely the T-Rex Echo Rec.
Ah, that looks silly good.
I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Like, you're walking around talking to people from all kinds of worlds, whether it might be Neural or Meris or Jam or, you know, traditional right through to fully tech people. And they're like, what are you excited about? And pretty much to a person, it was that.
Yes.
So,
how lovely.
Yeah. So I spoke to Lars and a couple of other people there.
How they doing?
They're doing great. Obviously, they had a rocky few years, but I think they're in the game, and we're getting one. So happy days.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
Oh my word!
Yeah.
There will be a happy dance.
Yeah. Well, let's see. But he was. So for those of you who don't know, an Echo Rec is a drum echo which Dan introduced me to, which I'd never heard of before. We've done a few shows on them, and it's a spinning magnetic drum, which is extremely problematic in terms of maintenance and breaking down and all of that. But they've manufactured their own drum head wire and then ground it down so it's magnetic, and then tape heads all around the outside. And I said to him, is it robust? And he's like giving it a good old push around, flicking the tape heads. We said, well, it's that robust, so we'll see. It is $2,100. However, that relates to pounds or euros.
I thought it would be 3 times more expensive.
If he said it was $5,000, I'd be like, fair enough.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway.
Oh, how amazing!
So that was good.
Because I've got the a baby rec, the baby Echo Rec, small one.
Which incidentally is kind of what you see on stage at Pompeii, isn't it? With next to Gilmore.
Yeah.
That's David Gilmore, not John Gilmore.
From down the road. Yeah. So we will get them back to back, and it's really interesting. I plugged it in on an experience day recently, and it's like, because it's such a pain to put together, you know, all these special cables and stuff you need. But I'd forgotten just how amazing it sounds. You know, you can hear the gloriousness over the noise. So I'm really interested to see how this one goes, because it's such a great thing.
All about the preamp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Good. Right. Chris Smith is on from Folsom, California. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
Christopher Butler. Wow, actually catching one of your live streams live, says Christopher. Hello.
Well done, mate.
Greetings from Norway, says Trollstern. Hello to BV. Thank you very much, BV, for being here and doing that amazing work that you do.
Yes, mate. Thank you.
ABCDEF says, D&M, do you have any recommendation for compressor pedals? Yes, we do.
Loads.
Origin Effects 1176.
You can't go wrong with that. If you're after a Dynacomp type compressor, you have to try the Jam Dynessa. It's like it put all my vintage MXR pedals back on the shelf. It's so good.
Yeah, so that sort of over squashy front end country type or funky Dynessa, something more refined studio-y Origin 1176. Different again would be the Union Tube and Transistor Lab, it's called, which is more like an LA2A style. But there's so many good ones out there.
Yeah.
Simple and cost-effective way to get in. Go for a Wampler Mini Ego.
Yes.
That'll do.
The other version of that is the Andy Wood Woodshed compressor, which is fantastic. I was talking to Andy last week and he showed me a few bits and pieces on it. It's like,
I didn't see Andy actually. I don't know if he was at NAMM, but I didn't see him.
Okay.
He might have been there. You don't always see everyone all the time.
Did you see Andy?
I didn't see Andy. I don't think he was there.
Oh, okay.
Well, if he was avoiding me. He might have been on the Ibanez booth.
Right.
Good morning from Sunshine Coast, Queensland, Australia, says Steve
Oh,
A.
lovely. So,
Actually, congrats. Sorry to be. I'm completely high on
of course.
having been
It's
travelling
lovely.
for 27 hours. Congratulations to Rabia Masad, who's signed with Ernie Ball Music Man, which feels like a really good home for him.
Yeah, it's a really big deal. I am so pleased for him.
Yeah.
Last time I saw Rabia, I was cracking up watching Spinal Tap, and he's looking at me thinking I'm an absolutely insane person. But we have a deep, deep love for that man. So talented, such a beautiful person, and no one deserves success more. So yeah, really happy for you, mate.
He texted me earlier and said this: let's arrange a time for me to cruise down to you and mess about with Strats.
Come on.
Because he's got a new pickup set with bare knuckle.
Wow.
So we can mess about with that. So
Lovely.
Awesome. Expect Rabia on the show before the end of time. Adam D's on from Albuquerque. Hi, Adam. Matt Wright from New York.
Lovely.
Jake Morin, hello from lovely Somerset. You know, it is lovely. Because of the dear old pandemic, we haven't done a lot of travelling in the last couple of years, so California was really cool. Nice to be in fact, it was cool. It was flipping cold.
Really?
In April, yeah. Rubbish. Anyway, it's nice to come home.
I'm glad you're home.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
Missed you.
S. Crawford, Boston, Massachusetts. Nick Tilleros is on from Germany. Hi, Nick. Joe Leonard from an overcast Bristol. Marcus is on. Evening, chaps. Hello, Marcus Reeves.
G'day, mate.
Who enjoyed the Instagram updates from NAMM. Yeah, I didn't do millions. I did stuff that kind of piqued the interest.
Yeah, I liked that because I was watching. I thought, oh, here we go. There's going to be a massive stream of consciousness, and there was just little bits and pieces that were really nice.
Yeah, just sort of edited highlights, really.
Yeah,
it did
lovely.
help that the show wasn't very big.
Right.
Well, I say not very big. It's still like 10 times the size of any UK show, but
right.
With no disrespect to the UK shows. But, good.
Anyone that wanted to know why I wasn't out there, my sister had come over from Australia with her children. And so a couple of my nephews and my niece, and we haven't seen them for a long time, and it was really lovely. And just happened to be on the same weekend. But yeah, so
it's a pain, yeah.
Yeah, but it was really great.
You've completely destroyed the mystery, Dan, because I was making up stories left, right, and centre about why you weren't there. My favourite one was a giraffe insemination programme in Africa, that you're really into nature and you're a part funder of a giraffe breeding programme.
Oh, fantastic. Well, maybe I've just, I've made the whole sister thing up.
No NAMM Thrax, says Scott Gaylor. A bit early for that, Scott. Only got off the plane about 6 hours ago. Elias Blum. It was nice to meet you, Elias.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, just it was very good. Good. Shall we dive headlong with the
Super Chai?
Super Chai. Yeah, let's see how many we've got. BB's probably texting me. Indeed. Thanks, BB. Where are we? Yeah, we're okay. Leave that open for a bit. We can leave that open for a bit. John Mayer was playing down the road at the Forum.
That was my John Mayer chord.
Yeah.
I love that. That's my favourite song of his.
Welcome to the real what you said to me, condescendingly. Take a seat. Yeah, he was playing down the road. $300 a ticket.
No.
Yeah, or at least the ones that we could get any sight of, so...
That's extraordinary.
Yeah, no. Forget that. I had dinner with the Jam Boys instead, which was much better. Cool. Let us get into these super chats then. For tonight. Let's keep an eye on it.
Okay.
Ranzer. Oh, Duncan Plexico, if you are watching tonight, mate, I tried to find you. You sent me a message and I replied, and I tried to find the information you gave me. I even talked to a NAMM official and couldn't find you, mate. So I'm really, really sorry we didn't manage to say hello. It was a bit rubbish, really, but I did try. I promise you I tried. Ranzer says, Dear D and M and B and K and R.
Oh, lovely.
I thought the dog would be really pleased to see me when I got back. She's like...
Who are you? It's okay, mate. She was pleased to see me.
Yeah, she was. Hope you enjoyed Easter and NAMM, says Ranzer. Any chance of a deep dive on the new UA Galaxy versus an RE202, an actual Space Echo? Have to say I'm curious. Yeah, the Galaxy. So Universal Audio introduced 3 new pedals in the last week. Funnily enough, you remember David Lennett, who we did the thing with at Real World? Guy in the video?
Yes.
Yeah, I had a really nice chat with him on
lovely.
Saturday night, whenever that was.
How is he?
He's great.
Great.
Yeah. So they're winging their way to us, the 3 new UA pedals. From reading the product descriptions, I think they're more up our alley than stuff before.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm keen.
Yeah. So we will do that. Rant, thank you for the question. Loved the Rick Beato show, says Whit Anderson.
Oh, thank you.
Hello, Whit. Of all the iconic folks you've had on, I would have been the most intimidated by playing in front of Professor Beato. Good on you, Mick. Much love, woo. Yeah, it was weird, really. It was one of those things that sort of escalated beyond its grandeur, I think. Like, I think it got into our heads a bit, because Dan didn't really want to play either. Rick didn't want to play, so I don't know what the hell was going on. So
I'm really glad you did though.
Muggins did, you know?
but you I thought you played beautifully, and I thought it was really interesting because it all comes back to context, right? And he's like, well, maybe it might be a bit too much top end for me, but it all depends on where it is.
That was the point,
actually,
really.
in the track, when I heard it recorded, it was like, flippin' heck, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
And I thought, that will sit beautifully.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad there was some guitar playing in there.
Yeah, there's more. So Rick, we did shoot a video for Rick's channel where he kind of interviewed us, which is weird, but anyway.
So weird.
He did that, and there's much more playing in that one, or a bit more playing in that one. So check out that on Rick's channel when he sticks it up, if he does. I haven't sent him the media yet, so
okay,
won't be anytime soon. But yeah, it was a trip. It was a trip having him on.
Yeah.
And nice to meet him.
It was. You know what? Because I've seen so many of his videos, and the video with Pat Metheny is just wonderful, and the piano player,
Larry Goldings?
No, Jarrett.
Chopping?
No. Anyway, it's all it's amazing stuff, and I'm like, and I just thought, I wonder. I didn't know what he was going to be like.
Yeah.
And he was just lovely.
Yeah, true.
And he's just really interested. And he came in and he's like, "This is fantastic. He said, I never get to talk about gear. This is brilliant."
Yeah.
And there's nothing contrived about it. He's just really, really into it. And he's a great interviewer. Lovely to meet him. It was sort of heartening in a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it was his success hasn't come out of it's come out of passion. And people have connected with that. It's lovely.
Hand on heart, I wasn't sure about that before I met him.
Yeah, right. Keith Jarrett, thank you, Paul.
Yeah. And but yeah, just a sort of like laser-like, a bit like Paul Reed Smith in many ways.
Right.
The kind of laser-like focus straight into the detail and completely in it straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a trip having him on. I'm going to turn off the super chats because I think we've probably got enough to get through. So if you've super chatted to this point, we will answer. I'll turn them off.
P Junior says nobody expects the Beato Inquisition.
I did start referring to him as Rick Potato, actually, which is kind of stuck, so sorry about that. Which comes from an old Harry Enfield sketch of Wayne and Waynetta when they are on Blockbusters.
Right.
I don't know if Blockbusters existed in the US. It might have done. It might have come from the US, where you'd have this honeycomb grid of letters and you'd go across the board having to answer questions with the letters in the honeycomb.
What's the one where they get with the paddles and have to hit each other off beams and stuff?
That's not Countdown. That's Knockdown, maybe, is it? Or
I don't know.
Smackdown, or...
Not, you said Blockbuster. It's something like...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, anyway.
No, anyway, It was... I forget the name of the guy. Bob Summit, his name was. Bob Holness, that's right. Anyway, so Wayne and Waynetta are on Blockbusters. And they say, they get B. And it's like, name any vegetable beginning with B. And he goes, potato. As I said, it was a long flight. Good. Right. Super chats then. Where are we?
Ed says, I think Dan's talking about Gladiators. That might be what it was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Amish Trivedi. Hello, Amish. It might be Amish. I don't know. You should let us know because you're on enough. Hello, dear ones, and much love as always. I absolutely love, in capital letters, the EP Booster by Exotic.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you do too. What pedal is more EP Booster than the EP Booster?
Is it the Chase Tone EP Booster? So the EP Booster is modelled sonically as much as anything on the preamp of the Echoplex. But it's the Chase Tone one that I think is super accurate to the, let's see, Chase Tone EP Booster. No.
I'm trying and failing to find the Crazy Tube Circuits multi-booster.
Chase Tone Secret Preamp.
Yeah, that's very authentic, isn't it, that one?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, it was here. It's now not here. I don't know why. Crazy Tube Circuits do a booster called the... begins with C, I think. Superconductor.
That's it. Yeah, that's awesome.
And that does a whole bunch of different boosts, but it does a really good EP boost. It does quite a nice treble booster and two others, which I can't bring to mind currently. That is flipping excellent. Jam have just released a new version of their Boomster, which is cool in a couple of ways. One, it's got a 3-position switch on it, which in the sort of down position you can have like a tube
Down
screen.
position.
Pardon?
It's a down position.
In the down position, it gives it like a tube screamer type boost. In the mid position, it's flat, and in the up position, a bit of bass cut. But what's really cool is you can attach a volume pedal to it. An expression pedal.
I have it.
And it's a constant volume.
Nice. I like that.
And you can have it buffered or not.
Oh, really?
And it's called the Boomster.
This is the... Chase Tone Secret Preamp. 3-position EQ switch. But that one is very close to the...
Yeah. I suppose the question is, if you love the EP booster so much, why change, man? Why change?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 EP boosters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. Michael Giliberto. Hi, Michael.
Hello, Michael.
Hi, DNM and BV and all. The ring mod was interesting, but probably not my thing. I think you speak for the vast majority of the population there. Rick Beato, great. Your interviews are fine compliments to others. Off point, just spent a week in hospital and I need to rock. Oh, sorry to hear that.
Oh, mate.
We hope you're mending. Getting better.
Yeah, mate. Hope you're feeling better.
Douglas Broberg. Hi, Douglas.
Hey, Douglas.
He says, I've got myself a gen-made Italian crybaby from around 1970.
Wow.
Any tip on a fuzz face type to pair with it?
Well, you have to find an original one, surely. If you're gonna go that far down that.
Yeah, because they're only 2,000 quid or 1,000 for something entirely unpredictable that might not work.
Love it. I love it. The Analog Man fuzzers for me are the ones with the least amount of question marks.
Yeah.
They just always sound amazing.
Analog Man Sunface, spend 10 minutes reading the different types and then just pick one and stop worrying about it.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of agonizing hours going into should I get this or that or the other. So just pick the one that sounds closest to your desires and get that. The problem you've got with the Gen, as you quite rightly point out, it will have a horrific bypass sound, I expect. So you might also want to consider a true bypass looper to put the wah in.
Yeah.
Some of those old wahs just have really terrible bypass tone, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it just wasn't thought about. It's the same as the old MXR pedals and a bunch of that stuff where you've got what the switch was doing. You're basically the input is constantly feeding into the circuit, and you've got another circuit that basically goes around the outside, and all the switch is doing is either connecting to the effect out or connecting to the around the outside thing, but it's always being loaded by the signal.
Yeah.
You put two of those in line, it's like, oh heavens.
George Trips did explain it to me once, and I didn't understand. So what he said.
What, the old bypass thing?
Yeah.
That's just terrible.
Um,
You've got to remember, I had a fascinating conversation with Roger Mayer about this. You know, when all that stuff kicked off, and it's like, well, we'll put a foot switch in it so you can switch it. They were using foot switches that were used in vacuum cleaners, because that's what they had. You know, there's old Carling switches and stuff, and it's
well,
like,
once again, the stuff made for the guitar industry wasn't for the guitar industry, was it?
Exactly that. It's all off the back of everything else that was going on.
Yeah.
You know, and every home's going to have a Hoover with its switch, but not every home's going to have a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yes, so that was a lot of chat there, Douglas. We both agree, Analog Man, Sunface. There's plenty of them out there. You buy a new one, they're not stupidly priced. And they have a bunch of features that means that you can make them work with all kinds of things, basically.
Yeah.
Eagle Ray Rob. Hello, Rob. He says, greetings. My Monk 2 arrived yesterday.
Awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a big week, hasn't it? We did Monk 2, we did NAMM, we did something else. Rick Beato.
Yeah.
Big week.
Big week.
Thank you to everyone who bought a NAMM, a Monk. And for those of you who didn't get one who are a bit disappointed, please don't worry. It's a standard pedal in Jam's line, and it will be widely available in due course. I think they sold their batch pretty quickly as well. That's what you forget, right? So when you look at how they make pedals, it's all, you know, really old school, custom made through-hole circuit boards. It all gets inserted. It all gets flow soldered.
It's not old school.
It's the school. Daniel. Thanks, mate.
You're welcome.
I
like the Rick Beato handshake as well.
Yeah.
I thought that was nice.
I, as we were part of the way through it, I thought, oh God, I'm touching Rick Beato. He might have a problem with that, but thankfully it was only a handshake. More next week, folks. No, and then all the switches and stuff and pots are all wired on by hand. The artwork process is, no one in their right mind would do that artwork process. You'd buy a printing machine and do it like most of the other companies do, but no, hand done, masked. So they do take a minute to make.
Sure.
That's why there's not millions of them available straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rob's question is, we're all the beneficiaries of these efforts for your continued pursuit of all things tone. Thanks, Rob.
Thank you, mate.
He says, now, about those WEM cabinets at NAMM, what speakers were hiding in there?
Oh, yes. They looked amazing.
Okay, here you go then. So this... the dude in the middle is... And let me try and remember his name. I think it might be Milo.
Right.
Is it Milo? See if I can read his badge. Mino. Apologies. This is Mino. Mino is the new owner. Sorry, you'll have to translate, Dan, because I'm not on mic.
Okay, so Milo is the new owner. Mino
is the new owner of Hiwatt.
Is the new owner of Hiwatt. Wow.
This is Arv.
That's Arv.
And Arv works in the north of England.
Arv works in the north of England.
To make them.
To make them. Oh, how lovely.
And chatting with Arv, and Arv says they're working with Fane,
right,
to make a decent crescendo, basically.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Fane can do it.
Yeah,
they can do it. I've got a Fane speaker in the Laser J at the moment. That sounds amazing.
Does it?
Yeah.
Which one?
Both of them.
Which speaker?
Oh. I'm such an idiot. I don't know. It's white.
Okay.
That's really good.
And so he said they've still got a bit of work to do on the grill cloth, but they're almost there. And I asked the question, so Hiwatt has a bit of a checkered history in many respects, and any association with any previous owners is no longer there, just for the record. So it does look pretty interesting.
Tell you what, Mino, I have an old Hiwatt custom tape echo, and if you're the new owner of Hiwatt,
it's there.
I would be most grateful if you could dig out a schematic for it.
We should ask Arv, because he's
has he got all the stuff?
I think he's all over it. Yeah, and I have his details and everything. So it was really nice to meet those guys.
That's lovely.
Yeah, so we're hoping, Rob, that they're going to be a remake of the Fane Crescendo, and it should be pretty sexy. I've said I don't, I will happily pay full retail price for one. Don't care. We have to have one to match that.
Have to have one.
Yeah,
absolutely. Pete Hawthorne says, my best buddy's going through a rough time and I'm spending birthday money to get him a Lucky Dip t-shirt from your site. If you could maybe say hi, Jono, he would love it as he's a huge TPS fan. Of course. Hi, Jono. Hope you're feeling better, mate. You're not alone.
No.
You're really not.
Yeah. If you haven't already made the order, stick a note on and we'll write a card to him.
Yeah.
Just to say, hope he's doing okay and, all the best from us.
Yeah.
Thank you for buying stuff from the store.
Thank you, mate.
John Van Sickle. I've been having great fun with distortion and fuzz, says John. Any chance for us to see the new Electro Harmonics Lizard Queen Octafuzz in a new pedal day video to hear your take on it? Yes, possibly. So obviously
Was Josh there?
No.
Okay.
We have a good relationship with JHS. We, for whatever reason, have never had a good relationship with Electro Harmonics, but I met somebody there this year. One of my main goals for going to NAMM was to meet someone at Electro Harmonics and get that happening.
Great.
Which we have done. So happy days. So yes, we may well get the Lizard Queen on.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. That was he likes a collab.
Josh.
And that's a good collab to have.
Yeah. Doing anything with Electro Harmonics, I would imagine, is a challenge.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Because Mike is an
I
interesting
met Mike.
guy.
I said, "Hey, Mike, great to meet you." He goes,
Yeah. Big Shorty. Big Shorty says, thanks lads, just received my Monk Mark II 10 minutes ago. Thank you very much for buying
buddy.
it. Pretty quick service all the way here to Canada. Impressive. I'll be monking around tonight for sure. Cheers.
Lovely.
Enjoy.
Honestly, it's such a fantastic sounding thing.
One thing I hadn't quite realised until I was demoing it to loads of people at NAMM this weekend was when you set the ramp speed, because you can set the speed faster or slower, I never know whether I'm in speed A or speed B.
Right.
The way you tell is to ramp up, you press and hold. To ramp back down, it's just a single tap.
Okay.
So you can single tap at any time. The tap tempo won't engage unless you do 2 or more. So it's a safe way of tap, and then you know which, because you need to set the ramp speed when you're in the unramped state, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sounds complex. Once you get your head around it, it makes perfect sense. Yeah. The ramp is flipping killer, actually.
Sorry.
What's that? What is it?
No, nothing.
Oh.
Nothing. I'm just being in the moment. I'm listening to that story and going, oh, how lovely.
What story, Dan? What was I saying?
Talk about the tap and ramp and all those features.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
What specifically was I saying?
You said that you didn't know, it's difficult to know whether you're an A or B, and that if you tap and hold...
Oh, you were actually listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. I don't listen to what he says, by the way, just for the record. Is Dan coming today or no? Hi guys, says Mike 2203. Hi Mike.
Hi, Mike.
I was telling everyone about your park. Mike's got a 78 vertical input 2203 park, which is really killer. and sounded mega. On a subject of which, Sakalis Audio, the guys at Sakalis, there's loads of Greeks there this year, have done a really good sounding JTM 45 and JCM 800 or late 70s master volume kind of Marshall thing pedal.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got one. Sounds good.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, as you know, Dan, I'm not massive fans of amp in a box pedals, but I plugged this in. I was like, oh my God, that sounds good.
Yeah.
So we'll try.
Yeah,
it.
no, there's a handful of them out there that do sound really good.
Yeah.
And, man, if anyone can do it, those guys can. They're so clever. Jack Duxbury said, nailed the Pro Guitar demo, Mick. You did a demo for Pro Guitar Shop, didn't you?
Oh, no, Premier Guitar.
Premier Guitar.
I think it was.
Right.
There might have been one somewhere else. I can't remember. There was two. I did two.
Hey, Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Yeah, I saw the thing that you did with Jason.
Oh,
Shadrick.
Jason, yeah.
That was really cool.
Yeah. Jason, I'm going to publicly credit Jason with this idea because we are going to do it. So podcasts, right? Mm-hmm. Jason does a lot of podcasts. Premier Guitar are quite successful in the podcast world. They've got a killer thing coming up, which I can't really reveal, but really, really brilliant. And it was like, podcasts, it's been a struggle for TPS because they're quite a lot of work, surprisingly enough, and there's no return on it. It's he came up with the best idea I've heard. Make up companies and sponsor your own podcast. So we'll make up a company called Dave's Switches and Gears. Do a T-shirt which says Dave Switches and Gears. Sell it in the store so we can sponsor our own podcast.
That is very good. That's a little insight into how his mind works.
Yeah, he's a clever guy. And he's so passionate about everything. And he knows everybody.
Wow.
Jason Shadrick from Premier Guitar. Yeah. Very, very lovely guy. There was a Earthquaker and a bunch of others usually put on a drinks and some food on one of the nights at NAMM. I think actually this year it was in conjunction with Reverb.com. Right. And I had a really nice chat with Jason there. Brilliant. It was really good.
Oh, great.
So anyway, if that all sounded a bit mad, we'll hone it. But I thought it was a great idea.
Awesome. David Tompkins wants to know, did you get hold of a humbuckle?
No, I didn't, but I did meet the Gibson guy, and it was
brilliant.
It was among the highlights of NAMM for me. He's so sorely needed, like satire in comedy. It is so sorely needed in this, navel-gazing world that we inhabit. For someone to go, hang on a minute, it is a bit ridiculous, which is, I presume, is the whole point of Gibson.
Brilliant.
But yeah. Anyway, Mike 2203 did actually have a question. If a guitar is set up permanently in an open tuning, do you buy each string individually? Have you ever had any guitars set up for open tunings?
Interesting. I haven't.
No.
It's hard enough with just one tuning.
Yeah, it depends how sort of off the tuning is. So I say off, how far away from what's it called? What's standard tuning called? Is it just called standard tuning?
Yeah.
Doesn't have another name?
No.
Okay. Standard. So if it's just drop D, for example, i.e. where you drop the low E string down a tone to D, maybe you go up a couple gauges. So from in a 10 to 46 set, maybe from a 46 to a 50 or a 46 to a 48 or something like that would be all right. Does start to make a difference as you go higher on the strings, because if you're dropping the high E string by a tone, that can really mean you need a bit extra tension.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, buy them individually and just experiment with what happens. So the more the string varies from standard tuning, the more you might want to consider a different gauge. And buy them individually. That seems pretty sensible way to do it.
Yeah, great.
I suspect, I don't know, but I suspect the manufacturers will do sets for common tunings.
Have a look at. I wonder what set Derek Trucks uses.
Yeah,
That'd be interesting to find out.
What does he always play an open E?
Always.
That's his
open
thing.
E, that's his thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know him? Have you interviewed him?
No, he's been in. When I worked on the magazine, he was in the magazine a few times, but I don't think I ever did the interview.
Right.
Did I? No, don't think so.
Okay.
It's funny, you know, when you edit so many interviews, you can't remember whether you did them or whether you edited them.
Yeah, right.
So if it sounds a bit vague that I can't remember, that's usually why, because you know, I don't know how many.
You were a very good editor. I remember I did an interview and I thought this isn't going to go well, and you edited it and it came out really well. And
yeah,
and that's the first time I'd ever been
change all the facts.
Yeah.
add stuff in. That's how editing works. Yeah, I would say of anything in magazine land, that's what I was best at, was editing. I think I still am. I think that's my thing I'm best at is editing, taking a lot of stuff and making it into something.
Have you always been good at
consumable? I think in the early days of the magazine, it was very. We got really good, strict training.
Oh wow!
Yeah, like really beasting training.
Ooh.
In the days before the environment was actually a problem, or at least was a problem in the in the sort of vernacular.
Yeah.
So my sub-editor, I'd edit up a bunch of copy using all the LCP printing marks.
Which you still use?
No, it's a long time since I've edited copy in that way.
But what's all the marks that you put when we're doing stuff? You put
sometimes, yeah,
symbols and stuff on.
Sometimes, yeah, if I'm doing it quickly.
Right.
But I'm not. I was always at best an average sub-editor. But one mistake, in the bin, do it again.
Right.
So you might go through 10 revisions of a piece of copy.
Wow.
And then the same on the page.
Okay.
And you it's all this stuff that was a bit up its own arse, if I'm being honest, like subordinate clauses in sentences, don't, obviously basic grammar stuff, split infinitives, don't end a sentence with prepositions, etc., etc., etc. All of that kind of stuff we'd fix in people's writing, which often took a great deal of the personality out of the person's writing.
Okay.
And I fought quite hard against that in the later days, but
right.
Yeah, it's good to go to school to learn it properly, so then you can do it wrong, knowing why it's wrong.
Okay, right.
Yeah. Like music theory, I guess.
Yeah.
You need to know it before you can muck it up.
Yeah. It's like comedy. You laugh at the wrong thing because you know what the right thing is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Duncan, yes. Sorry we missed you, man. I tried. Obviously, I didn't try hard enough, but yeah. I'm just checking. Jean Johung says, Derek Truck uses a custom set of strings 11, 14, 17, 26, 36, 46.
It's my Genie.
So that's the top two strings of an 11 set and the bottom of a 10 set, basically, isn't it? More or less. Yeah. Yeah, kind of. Anyway, yeah. KBest56 says, Mick, if your 61 Strat is a 10 out of 10, where's the custom shop rank? It's not a 10 out of 10.
It's beyond numbers.
It's an 8.5 out of 10, maybe 9. If it wasn't a refin and it had more original pots in it, it would be close to a 10. The refin knocks a bit off. And I don't just mean in terms of its value or anything. I mean in the way it feels. Yeah, custom shop's like half a point behind it, 1 point behind it, maybe.
Yeah, they're so good.
If we could reduce it to numbers in that way.
Yeah.
That gold custom shop is a flipping great guitar.
Incredible.
And the 61 and the 70 are so perfectly placed for the two things I love most about Strats.
Yeah.
I tend not to pick it up that much for the show, but I play it live, and as the kind of it's probably the best all-rounder. Whereas the 61 and the 70 are a bit more specific.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great guitar. It's a great guitar.
Yeah. Todd Roy says, Mick, what was up with that flat speaker cabinet?
Flat speaker cabinet?
Yeah. Did you try it?
No, I didn't see it. What was that?
There's a cabinet, like it looked like a big cabinet, but it was that thin.
Oh, right. Is it
And
electrostatic speakers or something?
Loads of guys are plugging into it going, hey.
Used to be a thing, electrostatic speakers. They were flat, weren't they, back in the day for hi-fi?
Right.
Am I getting that wrong? Someone will confirm or deny. Yeah. So I didn't see it. Didn't see it. Thoughts on the Binson Echo, says Duncan Plexico. Yeah, we talked a little bit about it earlier, Duncan. I think, well, if it works and it sounds good, it's the best thing for ages.
I mean, that's a ballsy move.
I mean, it seems to work. It was running for 3 days straight.
Yeah. Cannot wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
It's really cool. It's really, really cool. Chris Collins guitar. Anyone tried the Old Blood Noise Endeavours Visitor? I haven't, but I did meet the guys from Old Blood Noise, which I've not done before. Very nice bunch of people.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, he was Walrus before they were OBNE.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Joel Corty from Chase Bliss had a little off NAMM gathering of people that weren't at NAMM.
Oh, wow.
So I went up to that and saw a load of those guys.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was nice. A load of people never met before.
That's fantastic. Oh, well done.
Yeah, yeah. The Meris guys send their regards, by the way.
Oh, lovely. They've been so good.
Yeah, yeah.
Housekeeping.
No, I need to use the cinema.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see. I see.
A different sort of housekeeping.
Parker Rutland.
No worries.
Did you get to try the 2 Rock Vintage Deluxe at NAMM? I didn't play it personally. I talked to Eli for a long time about it. Me and him are buddies, and it's just killer. I heard some other people playing it, because at NAMM, right, you stood right there. You can't hear anything because it's 102 dB in the hall or whatever it is. But what's quite nice is when somebody else plays it, you can stand 10 or 15 feet away and listen to that. And what I heard was pretty spectacular.
How great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And, you know, it's so interesting, isn't it? So the first thing Eli says when you say, oh, so what's this all about then? He says, oh, steel chassis. I'm like, right. He's like, yeah. So all this classic Fender black panel amps were steel chassis, and all the modern 2 Rocks are aluminium or aluminum. And I think that has a bearing on Marshall and Fender as well. And he said it completely changes the sound.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all, actually.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's electrons flowing.
All the stuff. Exactly.
Yeah.
Everything makes a difference.
Yeah.
Everything makes a difference.
Yeah. And
that's
for those
amazing.
of you who think it's rubbish, then, well, that's fine. GC Kellogg says, and you commented this in the main video, GC, so thank you for that. He's talking very specifically about the sound of the 61 when we asked Rick if he thought it was top-endy. And he says it lacks 4 kilohertz plus chime, but the metallic 2.4 kilohertz peak is very strong. That's the top-end crispiness that Rick mentioned. Yeah, it could be. So I've always think that sort of 2.5 to 3.5 is the bite. Like in a good distortion sound, you get a lot of bite from that. But I would reiterate what Rick said, is that what we're hearing here is unfortunately not what you end up hearing in YouTube land, because you're going through a bunch of microphones. You know, we try and be as transparent about it as we possibly can, but then it gets, AD converted at least twice, 3 times by the time it's hit YouTube. Actually, that's one thing I'm looking. Dan and I are going to film tomorrow. One thing I'm looking forward to is hearing.
Our guitars again.
Walking around NAMM, it's really interesting, right? On so many stands, what I hear is with no mid-range. And when I look around, guess what I see? And it's like, oh my God, have we forgotten about mid-range?
Yeah.
Has it gone away? It's just like
Yeah.
and that is
challenging.
It's what so many live bands sound like these days.
Yeah.
Sorry to moan, but
No.
It's like, oh my God, please, analog, 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 please.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a crusade required. If that's not a culturally inappropriate thing to say, but you know that we need to get on our high horses, get analog going again.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just so bored of it. Bored of hearing it. It's tiring. Makes me angry.
It is tiring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, rant over. Buzz Crumhunger says, "Thank you, American marketing, for dooming us all Yanks to saying aluminum because they thought aluminium was too confusing for American minds and mouths." It would be interesting to know what the actual story is. I heard it was a spelling mistake.
Really?
But that's probably one of those urban myths, right?
Yeah, probably.
So I don't know. If anyone knows, let us know. Aluminum, as opposed to aluminium.
Aluminium.
Lefty O Bass. Welcome back, Mick. Thank you. Looking forward to hearing all about your nammings. Loved the Beato show. Have a beer each. Thank you, Lefty.
Thank you, bud.
That's kind of you.
Thank you. Are we meat feasting tonight?
We can. Yeah, I've made a plan.
Okay.
But I'm sure we can factor some
protein
into the equation.
Great.
I was actually very sensible with the eating at NAMM this year.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
I find that tricky when I go to America.
Insane breakfast notwithstanding, but
but you do so much walking during the day that you can have 71 pancakes with bacon and maple syrup, and by the time you get to lunch, you've walked it off.
I didn't go back to the hotel at all in between show and being out. So you leave at 7:30 a.m, 8 o'clock maybe 8:30 come Saturday morning, but fairly early to get going, and don't get back until 11 midnight. It's a flipping long day.
Yeah.
I mean, all right, you sat down having dinner with somebody for part of that, but it is a long day.
It is a long day.
I mean, woe is us, Dan, having to go to sunny California, walk around and look at guitars and amps for hours and hours and hours. I mean, could it be any worse?
Did you play any nice guitars there?
Yeah, I did actually. I mean, I wasn't really there to look at guitars, but that guitar that Emilio Cornerstone has made with an Italian guitar maker is bonkers good.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a custom guitar, so who knows if the next one's going to be great.
Yeah,
but
okay.
the guy who made it just obviously makes very lovely stuff, really lovely stuff. Whatever the name of the guitars on the jam pedal stand was, I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, aged, relict, things that you would recognise. I'll try and remember his name before the end of the show. They were really lovely. Owen Barry took me to a German guitar maker.
Right.
Called, starts with an M.
Muller Light.
Just really, really cool vintage inspired things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and remember the brand name.
Okay.
Really, really cool. What else? Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's loads of great guitars there. Kauer guitars. I really like the look of Kauer guitars. I had a good chat with Doug Kauer.
Right.
Kauer, maybe is how that's spelt.
Right.
And he had a 4 blue sparkle, amazing things in his boutique guitar gallery. That was pretty cool, actually. Boutique guitar gallery had Klein and all those.
Oh wow! Okay.
Totally off the walls things that is just a treat to see.
Do you remember the guitar that I played when we were there? Had the gold foils in it at the Keeley.
Yeah, I can't remember who made it.
That was insane. I still think about that guitar.
Yeah. See, now that vibe was very much this German company that I will remember.
Okay.
Bev's on the case.
Shabat,
thank you, Bev. Shabat is exactly...
That's from Elias.
Yeah.
Bloom.
Elias Bloom, Shabat guitars, so check those out. And Maybach is the company that I was trying to remember that Owen Barry showed me.
Awesome.
And I think, you know what, Dan, I think that might have been that Keeley guitar. They're so cool.
Summer School Electronics says, I didn't get a chance to chat with you, but this was our first NAMM and we loved it.
Mule resonators.
Oh yeah, right.
Just endlessly cool. I mean, you'll notice the theme in the kind of guitars that I like. I don't like shiny new things. Not my thing, really. But of course, there were lots of lovely, beautiful, shiny new guitars as well.
Yeah.
Here you go. This is Maybach. Come on, guitars. Give me a gallery. Give me a gallery. Oh, they all look a bit traditional. The ones he had there were not traditional in any way. They were much more custom than that. Anyway, Owen plays them. This is one Owen plays on the road. Like a cross between a Les Paul and a 295.
Oh, wow.
Solid body. They do this really cool thing on their... I'll just show you that. Really cool thing on their PAF pickup covers. And do cutouts so it looks more like a gold foil.
I like that.
Super groovy. Maybach custom guitars in Germany. Yeah, I really thought they were great. Jeff Fletcher says, let's make a deal. We will start saying aluminium, spelt in a very interesting way, if Brits will stop saying Les Paul. Let's make it happen. So they say Les Paul, don't they?
Yeah.
Well, less is more, I would say, and one S would not be an S sound. But anyway,
that's very good.
I think all Americans should pronounce all the Spanish names of the towns right as well.
Santiago,
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they always give me shit for saying Mesa boogie.
Right.
Because it's Mesa, it's a Spanish word, and people get very annoyed when you don't say it right. Well, there's lots of those words in America that have been Americanized. Anyway, it's language, it evolves, doesn't it? It evolves, done it. Good. Shabat, made by my friend Arvi. Yes, I met Arvi, BV, a very unique human being he is. In an entirely brilliant way.
Lovely.
That's great. I mean, I'm sure all industries are the same, but the amount of unique humans in the guitar industry is high.
Yeah, I think you got to be it's a strange thing, and you got to be a certain sort of person to hang in there. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Ed Davis, hi from a cloudy and grey Youngstown, Ohio. Thoughts on running a wet-dry rig using a Blues Junior and a Vox AC30 112?
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's a yes from us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. AC30 112 is a fact. I mean, I'm assuming... Okay, both will work as your wet amp. You have a bit more headroom in the Vox. So, yeah, but try both. But that pairing is really beautiful. It will work great.
Boring Gear Reviews. Graham, hello. We met at the Chase Bliss thing. Nice to hear from you, buddy. He says, great meeting at the Chase Bliss thing. Did you have a chance to try the Castadosa guitars there? Really, really stellar. Yes, I should have mentioned them. So Castadosa guitars, two people who used to work at Custom Shop, I believe, Fender Custom Shop, just making really awesome looking, similar sort of vibe, you know, relic-y, classic designs, but with a sort of retro-y twist. Lovely, lovely things. So, yes. Nice to meet you, Graham. We were never invaded by the French, says Buzz Crumhunger. And he's saying his daughter laughs at all the Americanisms that defy Spanish rules of grammar. Were you not invaded by the French?
Who?
Maybe there was just a lot of immigration, because that's what like Lafayette and the whole Cajun thing's about, isn't it? Isn't that a strong French influence?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if it was an invasion or just a resettlement, as it were.
Right.
Well, I didn't. Now then.
Right. Now then.
Hillbillies.
Yes. Because of the king from Scotland.
King Billy.
King Billy.
Because the Scots moved to the mountains.
Yes.
And played traditional music.
Right.
And they were called hillbillies.
Right.
Because they were Scots. King Billy.
There you go.
So there we go. It's their fault.
Always blame it on the hillbillies.
Stratman Jerry says, people still arguing about pronunciation in 2023. It's a great, great, great point. Thank you for that. Yes. Anyway, Greg Sachs. Hello, Greg. Oh, no. Swizz871. Hello, Swizz.
Hello, Swizz.
I recently seen Jason Isbell and Buddy Guy. I
Wow.
proudly wore my Play Loud shirt at Isbell's show in Enmore. I made a friend in line, and a third guy overheard us talking about pedals. We always managed to find each other.
Awesome.
Thanks for wearing the shirt.
So, Sadler Vaden, his guitar player, the guitar player in the 400, the 400 unit, is that what they're called?
100 fours of unit.
Right.
Yeah, the 400 unit. Yeah.
Right. Like mega guitar player.
Yeah.
Really, really great.
He's got a couple of nice solo records as well.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
at least one that I was listening to the other day.
Yeah, it's really great. And he invited me down to meet Jason. You couldn't make it, unfortunately. But far out, man. That gig was extraordinary. He just cuts right to it. You know what I mean? He just sings. I opens his mouth. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's wonderful.
Glad you enjoyed that, Swizz. Legends, says Greg Sachs. Legends. Greg Sachs, thanks for the help a few weeks ago with my trouble with singing and playing. The tune, I got mine. Dan's tip, just to drain on the E, worked great. It got my focus on the right hand. A real game changer.
Awesome.
Nice one, Greg.
I'm going to frame that.
Hopefully
I helped.
It gets easier and easier, hopefully. PSD Mikey 169. That's either Photoshop or post-traumatic stress disorder. Oh, that's PTSD. So maybe it's Photoshop.
Post Photoshop stress disorder.
Yeah, PPSD. How we laughed. PSD Mikey 169 says, I received my QMX8 last week. Couldn't be happier.
Oh, buddy, thank you.
I was pretty surprised on the difference it made. My tone is just getting better thanks to TPS.
It's the thing that everyone says. Everyone expects the functionality, but when they hear it, it's like, and you've got to hear it. Until you hear it, it's like, it's just all thought. But once you hear it, you can't go back.
It must be a frustrating marketing challenge for you.
That is very true.
I spoke to a couple people at NAMM, no names mentioned, who were very enthusiastically showing me things, reeling off specs and specs and specs and specs and specs and functionality and all this. And my question is always, what does it sound like? And they sort of look at you blankly.
Right. Yeah. Yes. You know what? How do I say this?
No.
Where is your heart?
Yeah.
It depends on where your heart is. My heart has always been from a discovery with old pedals. If I get it out the way, I sound better.
Yeah.
And that's been the basis of everything. And I have, I do have arguments with people and stuff. And like whenever I'm working with a new engineer, I'm like, okay, just listen to this. This is, and it's like, well, it shouldn't make any difference.
Doesn't make any difference. Look,
Yeah,
the diagram says it won't make any difference.
Yeah.
It's like, well.
And then 6 months later, they're going, I don't get it. It's I can hear it.
Yeah.
I can now hear it.
Yeah.
And therefore, every single thing that we do, no matter what change or whatever, we sit down and we plug things in and we go through it and we listen and we listen and we listen. And if that is not the cornerstone of what you're doing, then and not to say that if you don't do that, it's not necessarily going to sound good, because I'm sure it is. But certainly for me.
But so much stuff is sold on features and benefits now.
Yeah.
And because it's got 18 algorithms, that is necessarily better than 11. It's like, nah. Honestly, if 11 good ones are much better than 18 average ones. But it's hard to make that call, isn't it?
Yeah.
I met a guy called Alan, a New York session player, and bless him, Alan, I forget his surname. He may well be well known, but I didn't know him. He came up to me, he said, "Oh, I know who you are." And he's like, Mick, he said, "You've never seen me, but you've heard me." And he reeled off a bunch of stuff he's played on. I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, wow, okay.
And Alan, if you ever watch this, I hope what I'm about to say is not, doesn't upset you in any way. Alan's kind of got a unique character about him. He's, he is a certain way.
Okay.
In the way he interacts with people. Super genuine guy. And he sat down to play, and he borrowed a 63 Strat off someone, because he's just walking around the show with a 63 Strat. I'm like, "What's that?" He says, "Oh, a 63, and I looked at it. I'm like, "Oh, okay." He sits down to play, and when we get sometimes you'll get someone in and they sit down to play, and just for a minute you're like, "Really?" Because they're sort of all over the place. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know what happened. It's like a switch was flicked. Like he found a groove or something, or he found something, and he just sounded godlike.
Wow. Like
the notes had bearing in mind, it's a nice 63 Strat. He was on the Crazy Tube circuit stand. He was going through a nice amp. But my point is, it sounded because he was able to make the sound in a way that, and then all of a sudden there's a crowd around. Because there was just something about the noise that was coming out that he was making.
That's fantastic.
It was really moving, actually.
That's fantastic. I love that. I love that.
I guess that's my point. It might counteract the point a little bit, thinking that the sound's in the gear, because it kind of isn't. But I couldn't say why the sound was moving to me. I couldn't define it, but it was.
That's so
and
good.
I think it's an extension of what you're talking about, where you get the flow.
Yeah.
And some things inhibit that flow, and some things enable it.
Absolutely.
There you go. I got to the point in the end.
That's it. No, and that's exactly right.
Yeah.
And you can't features and benefits your way to that.
No.
You know what I mean? Not that, features and benefits are fantastic, but,
Shahar Bar really, really wants to be noticed tonight, and has opened, not for the first time, with fecal corn. He wants us to talk about tube overdrives. Shahar, we've done shows on tube overdrives in the past. Might be worth looking back through the archive. We like them. Dan and I both like them. We like the Kingsley stuff. So there's a company called Kingsley Amplifiers out of Canada. guy there called Simon Jarrett makes unbelievably good tube drives.
Unbelievable.
We really like the Valbrook, whatever it's called. Kaluna. Big Kaluna burger.
Yep.
The Valbrook Kaluna. I really like the, the old-fashioned thing, the BK Butler tube driver.
Yes.
I use that on my board.
Effect Road make incredible stuff.
Yeah, we like them. You've got to treat them a little more carefully than a standard overdrive pedal for all kinds of reasons. Most of which we go into in some of the videos that we've made. Yeah, but we like them. We're fans.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
How are we doing?
We're doing good. I'm just trying to see if there's anything coming in on that last thread. Zach Francis says, message retracted.
Zach.
It was about the new Silvertone pedal with Jackson Audio. I have one, and we're going to record with it tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it sounds wicked.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's
the Silvertone amp.
The Silver Twin 12, maybe, is it called?
Okay.
Something like that, or two. I forget the name of the amp. 2112 or something like that. That was a Digitech processor in a Rush album, was it? 2112. Anyway, whatever. Got one. Sounds really cool. Sounds
Excellent.
like a cranked old amp. Staggerly Goods says, do you know where I can buy a Nashville made 335? I've owned several. I love the build. Only secondhand. They don't make them in Nashville anymore. They closed Nashville down and they moved them back to... hang on. They closed Memphis down. You can buy a Nashville made one anywhere because they're all made.
Okay.
They're all made in Nashville now. Apologies for that. Yeah, they're all made in Nashville now. So they were made in Memphis for a while, but the custom shop ones were still made in Nashville, which is kind of confusing. It will say in the guitar where it's made. All the ones made since, I don't know when they closed it down. You could Google that, but all the ones made after that will be made in Nashville. Actually, if it says custom shop on it, it's made in Nashville. They didn't use the custom shop nomenclature for Memphis as far as I'm aware.
Nomenclature? What a great word. Have you been waiting to slip that in?
I don't know.
If that word had come to mind, I would have been waiting all day to slip that in.
Damani Johnson says, did you check out the new Cornerstone stuff? Yeah, I have the new, whatever it is they've done, like a Blues Breaker and a Klon. Bless him, Emilio was almost apologetic about doing it because he's like, I know, it's a Blues Breaker and a Klon. I know, it's what people want.
Good on him.
So it seems to sound pretty good. So we'll include that.
Great.
In whatever we do tomorrow. Basically, tomorrow's show is going to be random crap I brought back from NAMM.
Lovely.
Yeah.
That's great.
Looks like Fecal Corn got your attention, says Shahar Bar. Yeah. Always will. Jeremiah McCann says, apparently there were Memphis ES models labelled custom shop. Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Mine is made in Memphis. I really like the Memphis ones.
Yeah.
I went there and there's so much about the guitars that I really liked. But I think they've just upped all of that and moved it to Nashville. So, anyway.
Ian Minogue courses, evening you gas enablers. Happy to help, buddy.
Happy to help. Elliot Green. Hello, Elliot.
Hello, Elliot.
He says, I'm loving the Harmonious Monk Mark II. Even opening the box was a joy due to amazing packaging. Thanks, Dan, Mick, everyone at Jam, and everyone involved in shipping at TPS.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you for buying one, Elliot. We hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
It will come as no surprise that I've actually got both on my board. I got one down one side and one down the other.
Love it. It sounds mega, actually. It's like the that faux Leslie thing.
Well, it's like
It's
the thing
really
that
cool.
we first did with Joey.
Yeah.
And now there's a good excuse to do it.
It's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, really pleased with Mark II. Really, really pleased with it. The ramp thing is ace.
Yeah.
being able to go up and down. And for those of you who like tap tempo, I've never really worked out tap tempo with tremolo, which might sound insane, but for those of you who like tap tempo, it's a boon. Had to miss NAMM, says 40 Watt Podcast. Sad face. Because I had 6 gigs at a blues festival. Happy
come on.
face.
Very good.
In my hometown of Clarksdale, Mississippi. Oh, please say MS is Mississippi. Got to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, got to be. Did you take the last train there? Is the question.
Oh, that's very good. It was glorious to play again. Hope NAMM was fantastic. It was, actually. I wasn't expecting it to be. I don't know why that is. Here you go, Dan. Gibson, been on the blower. What did it say?
When's the SG going back?
Oh.
So I said to the chap there I've known for a long time, I said, any chance we can hold on to it for a bit? It's getting seen quite a lot.
Right, what did he say?
I think he's going to facilitate that eventuality.
Very good.
Facilitatize that eventualitization. Sorry, I have been in the US. Step down, sir. Step down. Do not step on the yellow area, sir. Yeah, but I'm going to have to buy one, Dan, is the problem.
Okay.
Can't afford that one,
No.
so I'm going to have to find one that's more affordable and good.
But we know we need one.
Yeah.
Because it's such a distinctive voice that we need to have in the mix.
I like the trem too.
Yeah.
That was another reason for borrowing one. I wasn't really sure I was going to get on with the old Vibrola, but I really, really like it.
Yeah. It's such a killer thing.
Yeah. Anyway, nice one, 40 Watt Podcast. Hope the gigs were good. Josh M, hello Josh.
Hey Josh.
Good day, gents. Good day. Finally,
Great
some
day.
sensibility of communication. He says, hope NAMM was a good time. I'm curious if Rick had any favourite guitars or amps at TPS Towers. Cheers.
He didn't play any.
No. He was talking about SGs quite a bit. He's got 60 amps, so he's a fan of amps.
He is a fan of amps.
But I think maybe from a more practical point of view than a kind of gassing fanboy point of view like me and Dan are. I don't know if Rick would look at an amp and melt.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe.
But he's definitely plug it in, put a mic on it, let's go.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Oh, I went to the Pro Audio Hall.
Oh, I saw you with the Neve desk.
I don't know if that was Friday morning. I was like, oh, it's so good in there.
And the headphones that you had on
Were Paul Stacey's.
Paul Stacey's.
Yeah.
And there's nothing like them.
They don't suck.
No.
But they are like $4,000, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought, don't listen to those. Don't listen to them.
I bought some new noise cancelling ones for the plane.
Okay.
Which are pretty good. But yeah.
So Paul does all of his mixing now on those.
Wow. Not all of it. I watched him mixing something on.
Oh, okay.
On
Well, he does a lot of
ATCs, but
okay. He does a lot of his mixing in those headphones.
Yeah,
they're incredible.
Yeah. So no, Josh. I think he's partial to a Gibson. It would seem. He has.
Well, he's got his signature
Gibson.
Gibson. I mean, how mad is that?
But I'm not sure that that's the entire reason. I think he just gravitates in that direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jake Hepworth says, "Hey guys, hello Jake.
Hello Jake.
Big ups from Doncaster. I just got my hands on a Memory Man 1100 TT.
Nice.
With the Panasonic chips.
Yes.
What's that? LM3002 or something? Is that
the MN3007's 300.
Anyway, Panasonic chips. I wanted to use the controlled oscillation. I'm finding I can't find the sweet spot. Any thoughts? Dan's brilliant at this.
Okay. So what you want to do, right? You want to play a chord, the loudest chord you're going to play when you play it, and when you do that, you want to set the oscillation just on the edge, right? So it doesn't go into, full-on oscillation. Because remember, the more signal that you give it, the more signal it's got to work with within the oscillation thing, right? If you're not giving it anything, I mean, you do turn up to a point where just the internal noise will start feeding back. But you want to turn that feedback control down so that when you hit it, it just starts to take off. And then what happens is, as you play, it'll just be this dreamy thing. And when you go, when you hit a note, and then it just starts to take off and then back off a little bit. So you can actually control that dynamically with the way that you play.
What you might be finding is that in order to get into oscillation, you're cranking it too high and it's just getting out of control.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if it's too low, it's not doing it. It might be lower than you think, because as Dan says, just a tiny bit extra picking power can send it off. You also need the delay level up a little bit as well, don't you? So it's not just the feedback control, it's also the level control.
And it's also the input gain control.
And the blend.
All that stuff is really
Tell
important.
me, Daniel, this expression pedal, can it be assigned to do different things?
Yeah.
Okay, so one great thing to try, get an expression pedal. It'll be a TRS connection, I expect. So you might already have one. If you don't, Dan and I both like the, what's it called, Volume X Mini.
Yeah, brilliant.
The little tiny Dunlop one, but they're available from all kinds of companies, and you can assign that to any of these, as you will. You know this. You can assign the expression pedal to control any of those functions on that thing that I just pointed out. If you assign it to the feedback or the level, you'll be able to just with your foot ease it in and out.
Yeah.
And that might be much more satisfying than trying to set it off the front panel alone, because it'll depend. If, for example, your delay comes after an overdrive pedal, when you turn the overdrive pedal on, that'll send way more signal into the delay and make it oscillate more. So having that control under your foot all the time will just mean you can roll it on and roll it off again at will. It's a lovely thing to try.
Sorry.
What, mate?
Yeah, sorry. I'm in a little world of my own at the moment.
S. Crawford Music, no questions today. Just happy to catch you live this week. Thank you, S.
Thank you, bud.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, thank you, mate.
That's very kind of you. Mark V, any thoughts of Dorset Guitar Museum? Didn't know such a thing existed.
Wow.
Tell you what I didn't know existed. Coffee and Guitars in Frome. Loads of second-hand Fender custom shops.
No. In Frome?
Apparently so. Dorset Guitar Museum. Oh, these guys. Yes, right. I think I met these at NAMM. Did I meet these guys at NAMM? Daily Guitar Draw. There's some guys I met. A Great Guitar Giveaway, maybe. They do a paid raffle. I don't know if that's the right. Yeah, these might be different. Might be a different thing, but basically you buy a ticket, and a bit like when you go to an airport and they've got a Ferrari there.
Oh, yeah.
And it might be 200 quid to enter, but there's only, well, however many tickets it takes to buy the Ferrari and put 100 grand in their pockets. Yeah, I don't know exactly how I feel about it, but there's nothing underhand about it, is it? It's a straight business proposition.
Yeah,
it's good. But yeah, we should check it out. Yeah, the Crimson Guitar folk, says Bazza Glanfield. Yeah, we should totally check it out.
Yeah, Guitar Safari.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Chris Quinn says, I wish there was a volume pedal that could be high or low impedance. The volume X is high only.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there is, isn't there? Isn't one of the only ball ones switchable?
I don't know. I mean, it's if you've got a...
Would purely just be a buffer, wouldn't it?
No, it's just about... So if you've got a high impedance...
Oh, input.
Yeah. So, I mean... Okay, what you can do... You can switch a resistor on it to change the impedance, but if you're coming after like a low impedance signal and you want to put your volume pedal there, and you go to like a 50k or 25k, you get a better sweep on the volume pedal. But if you put that 25k at the very start and you plug into it, you'll totally go. So, yeah, but it is simple enough to go from, if you've got like a 500k pot, it's simple enough to turn that into, with a couple of resistors, turn that into a 50k. Very difficult to go back the other way though. Yeah, but I don't see why no one will back it.
Lots of people saying, please buy the SG. Yeah, I would love to. If I hadn't had the ridiculous guitar buying year of last year, I would be thinking about it. But I spent all my guitar money for about 10 years probably in 2020.
But that was the dream.
21.
That was a dream realised.
Yeah, and it all happened at the wrong time in terrible timing. So
that's always going to happen though.
Yeah,
it's always going to happen.
Yeah, it is. It is. Someone else did ask a more interesting question, and I can't find it, and I apologise.
Rax Effect says Lale's expression pedal can do that. If anyone's expression pedal can do it, Lale's will do it.
Yeah, LEHLE. Check those guys out.
Very good.
They make very nice stuff. Was NAMM better or worse without all the big boys, says Siggy. Better, I would say. There was a sort of smugness of people who could, who went. I don't mean smugness. I mean a kind of,
this is cool.
This is cool, and we're in it. I think it's an evolution. It would be really nice if there could be something that didn't have all the insanity of NAMM. Because obviously it is financially crippling for a lot of people to go.
Man.
A friend of mine who may or may not remain nameless had a piece of a table that big. He had that much on the table on the on that Stompbox booth, which has got about 25 different makers.
Yeah.
$1,000 for a tabletop like that.
Yeah, I remember our first NAMM. It was like, are we going to do this? It was like,
Yeah, and it's not just the $1,000. Obviously, it's then the
accommodation and flights and transportation
and food. And
yeah.
I did a Denny's breakfast, right?
It's just so good.
The All-American Slam or whatever they call it, I can't remember. Anyway, various items including egg,
slam ham,
bacon, slam ham, jam, moons over my hammy. It's one of those menus. You look at it, it's like, can I? You have to just point because it's too confusing.
Yeah.
And I don't know, egg, hash brown, potato, sausage, and some stuff, pancakes, coffee. It was $40, $38 including the tip.
No.
Yeah. Only topped by last night at the airport. I had a burger and a glass of wine, which would be expensive. You'd expect it to be expensive in an airport. But then the flight was delayed a little bit, so I thought, I'll have another glass of wine. So I sat at the Rolling Stone bar in LAX in one of the terminals there, and I just said, a glass of wine, please. Sat at the bar. She gives me the glass of wine. It's just a regular glass of red wine. And then, so I pay the money at the end. It's $21 for an average glass of wine.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. Everything's got expensive. So anyway, long way short of saying, I mean, God knows what it must cost Fender. $1 million by the time they've got the stand.
Yeah.
50 people to work there. 50 hotel rooms.
Yeah.
I mean, probably more than that.
Boy.
So you can see why, in the old days it was about selling your gear to dealers. So the dealers from the whole of the US and across wherever else would come and buy their stuff. So it was all about sales, and in that respect it was really worth it. But of course now the internet's completely banjaxed all that, because all that stuff's done done away. It can be done over the year. It can be staggered. Nobody needs to do product releases in January anymore. You can stagger them through the year, because the other part of that is if everyone releases all their products at the same time, you get lost in the melees.
Yeah.
So as an evolution, because the value in it is seeing everyone.
Yeah.
That's where the value is, and those relationships that are that might lead to something really interesting. That's the brilliant thing about NAMM. Business-wise, personally, whatever. It's great that people congregate. So I really hope that there's a way of that continuing.
Yeah.
Because it is, isn't it? It's where everyone goes.
Yeah.
And it used to happen in Frankfurt as well. Sadly, that's demised. Maybe the guys at the thing that happens in Mannheim in September.
Oh, yeah, Guitar Point.
Yeah. Oh, God, what's it called? Guitar Summit.
Guitar Summit.
Yeah, we'll go this year.
Okay, let's go.
Anyway, sorry, I'm rabbiting. I need food and sleep. So Mark V, yes, we should check out the Dorset Guitar Museum. Best channel on the tube, says cheers from Washington State, USA, says Pete Glaze.
Oh, bless you, Pete. Thank you.
Thank you, Pete.
Very
That's
kind.
Of you to say. Any views or experience on P90s in a 335, says David Weir. I'm thinking of dropping a pair of Seymour Duncan Fat Cats into a 335 style guitar. 335 style Eastman. Now then, there's a dude who's a really great guitar player, and I'm going to remember his name in a minute. His signature 335 was with P90s.
Right.
Sunburst, beard.
So as opposed to a 330.
Yeah, so you get the centre block and all of that.
Yeah,
yeah, it'd be killer. And absolutely no reason why that wouldn't be completely awesome.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm going to remember his name in a minute. Someone will be saying in the comments. Lester, have I got Lester in my head? Beautiful Lone Star, says Felicien Bousquet. Yeah, it is. Not real Crookskin. Come on, who am I thinking of? Was Marshall there, says Mike 22-3. No, Marshall wasn't there.
Oh, that's interesting. What? Yeah, now that Marshall's been sold.
Yeah, I rather suspect
those days are over.
No, I would say the opposite.
They're going to come back with a vengeance.
I would rather hope so.
I would hope so as well.
Yeah. Luther Dickinson, thank you, Steve Roberts. Thank you, Steve Roberts. Yeah, Luther Dickinson had a really cool signature 335 that was with P90s, if I remember correctly.
Very cool.
I think that was in the Memphis days.
So, that was funny. Where's his thing gone? Someone says, Everclear says, what on earth has this got to do with music? And KJ Fader's gone, Everclear, it's called a tangent.
Yeah,
welcome to that pedal show.
Welcome to that pedal show, mate. Yeah.
Fantastic.
There you go.
Wow, that's cool.
That's the Luther Dickinson signature 335, complete with Bigsby vibrato. Remember when that came out? Very cool. Actually, that's a good price too.
Yeah. I am Stoic Dan says, Dan, that trucker cap looks like it fits really well. I might have to grab one. You know what? I'm really liking them.
You've lived in them, haven't you?
I have.
Since
they're so comfy.
Yeah.
And they just fit on my cranium so nicely.
we're going to have to get you an RV of some description.
Oh, yeah. Come
or a
on.
truck.
And a crossbow.
Actually, you should have a ute, shouldn't you?
Yeah.
And a boomerang.
Where's it gone? Oh!
You know, they were never designed to come back. That wasn't the point of them.
Oh, I know. It's just, yeah, so you could throw them into birds and stuff. They'd fling around.
I love it. You know, without any inappropriate cultural inappropriation. Right, what we need to do is hit that bird up there.
Right.
So what we'll do is we'll make a bit of wood that's a really weird shape.
And we'll throw it in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go, so there was, growing up I had a really great friend called Anthony Alsop, and his dad would take us, we'd be mucking around on Saturday morning. He says, "Dad, you ever been in a plane before?" "Nope." So bundles in the car, take us down to the local airport and take us up in a little Cessna.
Oh, wow.
It was really cool. Then one day said, "We're going to go to a boomerang throwing place." I went, fantastic. And it was incredible. The way they check these boomerangs and stuff, and they'd teach you how to throw it at a certain angle into the wind. And this guy threw it, and it went around like 4 times before it came back down. It's really, really clever. That's a tangent. That is a tangent. Now,
What you need is some transitional music.
and I'll never forget, there was a little sign above the shop that says, "Spending money is fun. Enjoy yourself in here."
Nice.
I'll never forget that.
Imagine a transition. We could do that. It does transitions on the thing. Jeremiah McCann. Hello, Jeremiah. Nice to hear from you, buddy. He says, what does a producer's preference for mixing guitar... When does a producer's preference for mixing guitar start to become their opinion of how it should sound versus being heard in a mix? Love you guys.
It's always their opinion on how it should sound, isn't it?
Yeah. Depending on who you work with, the reason you hire the producer is for their decision.
Yeah. Totally. We hired Paul Stacey to mix our last album, and he's like, "Okay, great. I know what's going on now.
Yeah.
Off you go."
Yeah, goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me do my job.
I think it's a source of a huge amount of tension in many recording down the years.
Yeah.
And that creative tension of artist and producer is probably results in some of the best music that was ever made, I would imagine.
Totally. Yeah,
or
totally.
indeed a symbiosis that is more in tune, that becomes flow and becomes something amazing. But yeah, you don't have a dog and bark yourself, do you? You let the dog bark, do its barking. Not a very good analogy. I did see a brilliant Instagram clip while I was bored at the airport yesterday.
Right.
Poor man's bagpipes. This dude gets a harmonica and a balloon, puts the balloon on the lowest note of the harmonica to create the drone, and then plays the melody so the balloon's blowing the drone.
That's brilliant.
It's really good. It was really, really good. Yeah, so I suppose it depends from producer to producer, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I do also think it's why it's rare to have very gifted artists who can produce their own music.
Oh, mate.
Because you need that separation.
Yeah.
Or at least, I mean, there are many, don't get me wrong. There'll be examples down history of people who are exactly that. But in general, splitting those roles ends for a better result.
Mm-hmm.
You're too close to it, aren't you, as a songwriter?
I think,
Or the
and I
performer.
feel the same way about people who play everything on their albums. There's a handful of people I know, well, I should say, Stevie Wonder, Dave, Foo Fighter Dave. There's been a bunch of people who've created true magic when they've played everything. But I think it can also create problems as well if you get in there and play everything.
Yeah. I suppose it's each individual project, Jeremiah, isn't it? That's got to be part of what's going to make it successful, is to have those right people that push it in the right direction rather than self-destruct and kill it dead.
Yeah.
Coops covers, or it could be Co-op's covers, but it looks like Coops covers. It says Martin, Gibson or Taylor. I presume we're talking about acoustic guitars.
Martin, for me, every day of the week.
I would say if it was gun to the head, you can only play one for the rest of your life, it would have to be Martin. But it might be Gibson.
Is it the J40? What's the...
J45?
Yeah,
or
J45.
J40.
Yeah.
J40 was... James Taylor played one in the early days.
Yeah.
Natural finish. J45, more traditionally sunburst, but not always.
Because
Elvis Costello, Bruce Springsteen.
Great sounding guitars.
Yeah, it's the songwriter's guitar, isn't it? Yeah, got to be Martin though, I think, for me, if I had to choose. It's weird, I'm quite passionate about acoustic guitars, and for a little time there I did edit acoustic guitarist's acoustic supplement. When I went off into the wilderness after leaving, to pay the bills, one of the things I did was editor of their acoustic magazine. We pushed quite hard to make it quite nice and lifestyle-y, but that didn't work. So I have great affinity with acoustic guitars. I've played lots of lovely acoustic guitars down the years. It never ceases to amaze me that a Martin always sounds like a Martin.
Yeah.
Like a... I don't want to say proper, but like an all solid wood classic Martin always sounds like a Martin.
Yeah.
And there's plenty of other companies that make Martin alikes. Well, every other company that makes Martin alikes, but the Martin always sounds like a Martin.
Yeah.
I can't get my head around that.
It's like KFC always tastes like KFC. You can get all your different lovely, fancy, crispy things, but actually what you want is just a little bit of, bottom of the barrel old grease and bit of and it's just that
my nephew James, before he could speak properly, he had to drive past it, and obviously he was like 3 years old, so he wasn't allowed to go in there, but he used to call it Keith's Cafe because he knew it was KFC and some combination of became Keith's Cafe.
That's fantastic.
So to this day, it's Keith's Cafe.
I like it.
How do you use your Argo, says Every Note Counts. Mick, I almost feel like I need to run mine into another fuzz to make it slicker under the fingers, says Every Note Counts. Okay, so the Argo, this is an old version of it. It looks different now. In fact, I hung out with Zach quite a lot at NAMM. It was lovely to see him from Mythos Effects. This was the first iteration of the artwork. There was one after that, and now they look quite different. Anyway, the circuit's the same.
I'm playing Jason on the Argonauts.
Oh, nice.
From STC, like that. Anyway.
It's a version of the Prescription Electronics Clean Octave Blend, the Cobb. Is it Clean Octave Blend? Anyway, the Cobb. And it's Doyle Bramall's favourite Octafuzz type arrangement alongside certain Zonk machines. And if you are looking for that Hendrixy octave up sound, it's not really that. If you want to do that, you need to max the fuzz out and just get the blend where you like it. But if you want an Octafuzz kind of sound, like the Hendrixy sound, it's a different thing, and that might be what you're talking about. So I use mine much more in a I aspire to use it in the way that Doyle uses it, which is as a kind of very expressive vocal, for want of a better word, spitty. So it's much more granular, and like you say, the Octafuzz is much more singing and kind of Purple Haze. We know that sound from plenty of records, but I always think of better ways. Anyway, this is not that. It's different. So what you could do, run it into an overdrive, which is what I do. So you could have it before quite a heavy overdrive, and that would certainly add some more sustain and fluidity to it. Running anything too much into it, you can do that, obviously, but then it really does affect how the octave generates off your touch sensitivity. Because one thing about octave type pedals is, particularly if you're a Strat player, but really on any guitar, neck pickup, turn the volume down a bit, that's where the octaves really start to jump out, particularly around the sort of middle of the neck, 10th to 14th fret sort of area. So yeah, it's not the classic octave fuzz sound. It's something slightly different. So try a heavy overdrive after it. That might help.
Yeah, great idea. Great idea.
I way prefer it to an octave fuzz.
Yeah, it does sound spectacular,
especially when you add like that much reverb.
Yeah, but using it in conjunction with the gain that you already like.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, as opposed to having to turn everything else off and then that's that fuzzy thing. It's like, no, I've got a really nice overdrive tone. I'm just going to kick that octave on before it and just make it do that thing into a sound I already like. Is really cool.
My brother saw a photo of KFC when he was a kid, says Jake Hepworth, and said, "Mum, is that Kentucky?"
That's because it used to be called Kentucky Fried Chicken, but then they dropped having it fried. Anything called fried apparently was bad.
Oh right.
So they called it KFC. I used to work at KFC when I was 17. It was like one of my first jobs.
Did you?
Yep. I was on the drive-through window.
No way.
Yeah. And I remember saying to someone, "Welcome to Kentucky Duck. What can I get for you?" I got in trouble for that.
Yeah. I am a fan. I do like a bit of KFC, actually.
Oh, it's tasty as you like, but man alive, it stays with you.
Apparently Mary Spender has a Martin Guitar Factory tour out today, says Tim Chalmers. Nice.
Excellent.
Nice. Would be I've been there a few times. Would be interesting to see how much has changed.
Right.
It's fascinating. It's blinking fascinating how they do all that stuff. Anyway. Joe Halliday, hello sailor.
G'day, mate.
Hello, Joe. He says, "Can I humbly request more lick lessons? I haven't sat down and played anything in you for over 3 years and then mix short. It was just small enough for me to dedicate time to it. Thank you."
Brilliant.
Yeah, we should both do some really. Actually, the shorts have really fallen off because we've been doing Harmonious Monk and going to NAMM, and Dan's got some stuff going on product-wise. So yeah, we've been quite... And Rick Beato came.
Yes.
And Pete Thorne came. And some other things. Yeah, we should do more shorts. I like the shorts. I really like the format, actually. Having originally poo-pooed it.
Yeah.
As being a load of flipping
You're very good at it.
waffle.
You're very good at it.
Yeah. It is hard, though.
You got a minute.
I will say that... Yeah, let's do this. If any of this sounds like moaning or like overly grabby or businessy, forgive me, but just think about where we are for a second.
I'll put some non-moany chords in the back.
Play lots of major chords. So okay. YouTube, right, which enables us to exist. You're watching this via YouTube. We publish via YouTube. Enables us to exist. What YouTube needs is to be in that vertical scrolling market. So whether it's TikTok or Instagram or whatever the other ones are that we don't even understand, YouTube's losing huge market share to those vertical scroll things, and if you've ever got caught in one of those vertical scroll things, you'll know how compelling it can be. For a channel like us, which is long form, narrow and deep content, getting any sort of traction in that market is virtually impossible, because there'll be girls with their boobs half out, fat people falling over, animals doing crazy...
Which is never not funny.
Animals doing crazy things, people jumping off cliffs into pools of water this big, you know, like really amazing stuff. Dudes flicking cards through a circle this big from 40 feet away, you know, just stuff that you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that actually exists. So trying to stand out in that market and get selected to be viewed in that market is basically impossible. Plus, let me tell you, Dan, the revenue on shorts is about 70 times lower than it is on regular videos.
Really?
Yeah. So what's YouTube getting? YouTube's getting millions more views, billions more views, millions more minutes watched, millions more of your time for free. Because we're working for them. So there is a part of me that's like, So what we need to do is let you lot know that these shorts exist and to encourage you to watch them because, as Joe has just said, they can be really valuable and useful.
Yeah.
But getting seen is flipping impossible.
Yeah.
Anyway, there you go. I hope that wasn't too moany. How do
you play Money Money?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Didn't Billy Idol do a
Yes.
cover of that? Anyway, yeah, sorry, just a little peer behind the curtain there of how these things go. Yes. There we are. All with the caveat that it is YouTube that enables us to exist, right? So we are very grateful and happy that YouTube exists. So
yeah,
please don't take it as an out-and-out moan.
Yeah.
We did go to YouTube's offices once. The lavishness of which
will stay with us
forever. That wasn't even their proper office either. That was their London office. Jim Leininger. Hello, Jim. Greetings from a soggy southern Oregon coast. I need help breaking out of a long-term creativity block. Frankly, it's difficult to pick up my guitar for more than a few minutes. Boring.
I am in a bit of a creative slump at the moment. I find it's certainly for me personally, it's very much dependent on what else is going on in your life. If I'm in a situation at the moment where I'm finding it hard to concentrate, but actually forcing myself to concentrate on something and really be in the moment, present, has been really helpful. So you might find this helpful, but if what you're saying is you don't enjoy playing for more than a couple of minutes, just pick up the guitar and just play a couple of notes and don't think about anything else. Just be super present, super conscious, and just see if those notes
Where's Dan gone?
Go anywhere. And you never know.
That's it, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
freeing yourself of the expectation that you should be doing something.
Yeah.
So if you start feeling bad about feeling bad, it's just this like negativity spiral that is a waste of time and brain space.
Yeah.
So like he said, he said it. He just said it all. That's the way to do it. Stop worrying about not doing it.
Yeah. And it's okay.
And do it.
If nothing happens, it's fine. But
Yeah.
just be in the moment. Just give it a go. Because I've found, because I picked up the guitar yesterday for the first time in a couple of weeks. Since we filmed, actually. Because I've just had a lot going on. And so I don't feel like this, but I was kind of, let me just, play for a little bit, and I really enjoyed it. I was only played it for like 20 minutes, but I came away from that thinking, oh, that was beneficial. And then I called my brother, and he said, I've had a really crap day at work. I'm going to band rehearsal. I'm going to turn up loud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
it's
the release.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, there really is.
The other thing, more prosaically, if you can't get out of your head, as it were, because the problem is you're in your head about it. That's the problem. You need to get out of your head and in the moment. If you can't do that, do something like watch TV with your guitar and pick out the melodies.
Yeah.
Or a song you've always wanted to play, go onto the internet, find the chords, or a song that you've never wanted to play. Something you hear on the radio, or a famous pop song, or I don't know, anything. Just pick something and do something that you wouldn't normally do. So just strum the chords. And you'll almost I don't know, in my case, I'll almost certainly learn a new chord or a new progression or something that's like, oh wow, I never quite realised that.
Yeah.
You know, watch a couple of people break it down on YouTube. That's such a fantastic resource now. Well, I'm pretty decent at learning stuff by ear, but if you can actually see somebody there showing you, it's great. And I almost guarantee if it's something outside of your wheelhouse, it will introduce something interesting, different, alternative. It could be as simple as a strumming pattern, or maybe it involves a hybrid picking or a string bend that you've never done, or something like that. That could be, if you find the cerebral stuff a little hard to put into practice, then something as prosaic as that could do it.
Totally. Lots of people jumping on the store at the moment. Thank you very much. We are grateful to all of you.
Albus Band, Aaron. Long time coming, but it was wonderful to see you, Mick. Next time, hopefully Dan can come as well. The Binson was the highlight by far. Love you, mate. And you, mate. It was so good. Aaron and I went off and had a drink. What a lovely chap.
Awesome.
Yeah,
that's so good.
It has a horrific elbow story for another day.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
It involves, really hilariously bad elbow injury. Yeah. That's not my abiding memory, Aaron, but there was a few moments. It was good to meet you, buddy. Really good to meet you. And finally then, Ranzer. I'm just going to check that this is finally before I say what I'm about to say. Don't worry, it's not like that's the end of... Yeah, it came out all wrong. Last tonight, Ran's there. Thank you, Ran. I think you were first and last tonight. He says, great show, Dan. Play us out. Actually, he says, great show. Dan, play us out. Thanks for being with us, everyone. We'll see you Friday for we're not quite sure what yet. Might be Chris Shiflett, might be something else. But thank you for being here.